So I was wondering if I'd be able to go on this Disney trip with the family and eat low carb. We actually had the meal plan, and I thought it might have been a complete waste, but I'm finally back, and I'm going to go over it all with you and tell you how it went. So I'm not sure if you've seen my other videos, but about last year I was diagnosed as type 1 diabetic, and thankfully I was diagnosed very early. I was diagnosed as an adult, which is a little bit rare, but I was diagnosed very early on, and I still make quite a bit of my own insulin, which is great. And I just take a kind of two small doses of long-acting insulin. And for anyone that doesn't know, the issue with that is, I eat very well. I eat very low carb, and I keep my blood sugar very good. But the issue with taking some insulin is that if I exert a lot of physical activity, I can go hypoglycemic, and I find it pretty easy to go hypoglycemic. High intensity training, I need to prepare pretty good for that. So anyway, like I said, I went down to Disney World with the family. We've done this a few times, but this time it was quite a bit different. This time I was not able to go off the rails and eat whatever I want. I don't do that anymore. I keep a strict diet, and we had planned out, as we usually do, we plan out where we go. And for me, I'm thinking about how can I eat low carb, and usually that revolves around a lot of meat, a lot of animals, meat, seafood, and I enjoy eating that way. Not a problem at home. We buy a lot of local beef, we buy a lot of good steaks, a lot of chicken. I eat chicken wings that I make myself, and all that good stuff, tuna, salmon. But being out at restaurants, I have to eat what they have, and so I was concerned I'd be able to do that. So the big concerns were having the food that I need to eat, that I want to eat, and keeping my blood sugar in that tight range that I usually do. And really the biggest concern was not going hypoglycemic walking out in the parks. For anyone that knows, if you really do an amusement park like Disney World, and every day walking a lot of miles, it's a good exercise. So thankfully, I have a continuous glucose monitor. I have a Dexcom G6, works very well, and I'm able to see my blood sugar. I get a reading every 5 minutes. So I'm very thankful for that, and it made this whole thing a lot easier. So the big takeaway was, so like I said, we had the meal plan, and we were granted a sit-down table service meal, like in a restaurant, one of those every day, and we had a quick service meal, like a burger and fries type place. Some of the places are a little bit better than others, and then we had a couple of snacks per person. So the big takeaways I found were the table service places were very easy to eat well, and plenty of selection. The quick service were a little tougher. I ate at the quick service in our hotel, which was Port Orleans Riverside, a couple of times, and I was able to find a couple of things to eat, but it was more of what I ate typically was actually a burger. I got their bacon cheeseburger without the bread, and obviously without the fries, and I had coleslaw, and I think I loaded up on lettuce and tomato. That I felt was kind of weak. I wish there was, more of just a meat. They did have a carving station, but it didn't look very good, to be honest. But other than that, that's all they had. They didn't have any they did have salads, actually. I apologize. They had a salad station with pre-made salads. They were okay. Required me to put some of my own nuts on, and not really up to par. But so like I said, the quick service was a little tougher. I think we did go to a barbecue place, which was very good, and had a lot of selection, of course, being barbecue. But so, like I said, the table service blew me away at Disney World. We did their long-running dinner show, Hoop-de-Doo Review, and I had ahead of time put a note in our reservation, and I had asked, I said I eat low carb, and I had asked if they can do anything for me. Well, what did they do? They, if anyone has ever been here, they have basically the main entrees are ribs and chicken, and they bring it out and throw it on the table, and it's very good. What they did was they gave me their fried chicken with no breading, and it was delicious. It was excellent. My mouth's watering thinking about it now. And so that was perfectly fine. I would assume it would be pretty much zero carb. It might have been brine, but if it was mainly just a saltwater brine. They also gave me their ribs, which had none of the barbecue sauce. Again, excellent. And of course, I wasn't able to eat any of their sides. Actually, no, I think they did give me broccoli, which a lot of places did. And the broccoli was steamed broccoli. It was very good, actually. So I had the ribs, the chicken, and the broccoli, and it worked out great. The next day, we went to Biergarten, which is a German buffet. Again, fantastic. I needed no modifications. I had some of their pate. I had a couple of different kinds of sausage. There was a meatloaf, a German style meatloaf, and a couple other things. No problem to be low carb there. Low carb carnivore, no problem whatsoever. Excellent. The next day we went to a place called 50's Primetime Cafe, and this one I was a little worried about. I had looked over the menu ahead of time, not a lot of selections, but I settled in on a Caesar salad with salmon, and it was a good piece of salmon, very, very good piece of salmon, very well cooked, just barely cooked, which is the way I like salmon, almost a little underdone. And the salad was very good, no croutons on it. This one surprised me. It was very good. I had a great meal. The next day we went to a place, another buffet, Tusker House at the Animal Kingdom. And again, very good. Lots of meat. I had some salmon. I had, I think I might have had some other type of beef. I honestly don't remember a lot on this one, but we were quick. We had to rush. We had a ride we wanted to go on, but it was very good. The next day was the absolute best meal by far. It was probably the first time I had really overeaten and felt full probably in almost 3/4 of a year, 6-7 months. And it was 1900 Park Fare, which is another buffet at the Grand Floridian. And it was, like I said, it was unbelievable. They had perfectly cooked chicken wings that had no breading, no sauce on them. They were brined, and that's it, and they were fried perfectly. The best wings I've had out in quite a while. They also had prime rib, which was fantastic. Lots of fat on it. It was excellent. They had an excellent Caesar salad. It did not have croutons on it, which I appreciated. They had croutons on the side, which is where they should be for people that just don't eat that. So it was just great romaine lettuce, Caesar dressing, and some cheese. Very good. I'm trying to think what else I had there. I also had, I believe I had some sausage there as well, but it was very good. The next day, another buffet, similar in selection to 1900 Park Fare, but not nearly as good. It was okay, and there was a fair selection there. I give them that. Not quite as good. So anyway, like I said, I found these table service restaurants to be very good for us low carbers, keto. They had plenty of selection, and the quality was at least what you would expect, if not in most cases above my expectations, and I can be pretty picky. So all in all, the food was good there. It's definitely possible and enjoyable, actually, to eat low carb at Disney. And you know, with the use of my continuous glucose monitor, I was able to go through the parks. Of course, you know, I did bring plenty of my own food. I relied on some of the Primal Kitchen bars, which have a fair amount of carbs in them. Actually, I didn't. I only had half of one of those there. I did not need to. Those spike my blood sugar quite a bit for the bars, and I usually only use those in more of an emergency or before a really intense workout where I'll just, you know, I'll need those carbs to keep my blood sugar even. But you know, I did eat some Quest bars, which worked well. I had some keto cups at the end of the day as a treat. But during the day, I mainly used my meals to balance out my blood sugar with the walking. And I had some of the Duke's sausages. I had Epic bars. I used mainly protein and meat to keep that blood sugar up. I only needed to use glucose a couple of times, going a little bit lower than I want to be, into the 70s and approaching, you know, high 60s, which obviously I don't want to go down to. So apologize for the long video, but I hope someone gets something out of it. Please shoot me an email or a question if you have anything else. I think I pretty much hit everything I wanted to. Again, Disney World, definitely, you know, if you're on the meal plan or even if you're just eating some of the food there, it's definitely possible to be low carb. In general, you know, this is, I think, a good way to attack a vacation. And I think as time goes on, it's just going to be easier and easier as it goes on for us low carb eaters. So again, shoot me a question. I appreciate you watching my video, and until the next one, talk to you soon.